Glad to have you with us here on the Chiefs Report. I am the somewhat capable host, Tyler Jones, here with you, and we got a loaded show on tap today as we will be talking about Charles Omenihu, also Xavien Howard, plenty to get to in just a matter of moments. Before we do, for the entire month of July here on the channel, we are in a battle with our fellow AFC West rivals to see who can pick up the most new subscribers for the month of July. Early lead to PD and the Broncos report. They're at 25 subscribers, and the Raiders are at 21. We're beating them right now, but very competitive early on. We want to make sure that we show why we have the best fans, not just in the AFC West, but in the entire National Football League. Stick it to the Donkeys and those loser Raider fans, and let's win this sub-battle, and subscribe now for the latest happenings in your Kansas City Chiefs all off-season long here on the channel. So there was an interview done by KPRC2 in Houston, the NBC affiliate, with Charles Omenihu, and he gave an update on his recovery. If you recall, he suffered an injury, an ACL injury, towards the end of last season. Not great timing for the Kansas City Chiefs when you talk about when his return will be and the position this puts the Kansas City Chiefs in for their defense heading into 2024. And it adds to the injury history, if you will, for Charles Omenihu. If you look back, he missed a total of the first 6 games to begin 2023. His numbers in the final 11 games were pretty solid, with 28 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 7 sacks in those 11 games. But then in the AFC Championship game against the Baltimore Ravens, he tore his ACL on January 28th. So we already know, it's no secret that these ACL injuries take a long time to recover, right? And we got some statistics we'll compare to other players at his position of what their recovery times have been like that we'll get to in just a bit. But basically, to make a long story short, if you will, this is not going to be something that is fixed or solved, the return of Charles Omenihu, just simply overnight, right? Here is what he had to say in the interview with KPRC about his recovery, giving this update on his status. It's going good. Slow process. Everyone told me it was going to be like that, but it's been decent. Honestly, right now, I'm steady. I'm cool. I got to be like this. I kind of keep myself like that. Just stay plain, and we'll get to the point where I ramp it up like that. This is okay, right? I mean, he didn't say that he's had any setbacks or that things are not going as planned. Remember, with ACL injuries, it's twofold, right? It's not just the ACL healing, it's also the mental strength of having the confidence in the ACL being there. I think back to Derrick Rose, right? However many years ago with Chicago Bulls, when he was told by his doctors, hey, your ACL's fine. You're good to go, but he didn't have the confidence in his ACL being there, and that took a long time for Derrick Rose to come back, and obviously he wasn't the same player. I know that's basketball and things are different, but let's compare to other defensive ends of when they made their returns. You look at Von Miller, for example, the ACL injury he suffered November 24, 2022. He made his return October 9, 2023, nearly an entire calendar year before he was back on the football field. Chase Young, meanwhile, the injury that he had, he was hurt November 8th of 2021. He was back by September 10th. You look at Bosa, September 21st in 2020, and it was, you can see, right at about a year, September 12th, 2021. And the timeline is very similar, you can see, for most of these guys there for what they've done and when they've made their returns. You can see up to about a year, some of them 10 months. Eric Barnett, the last one on our screen here that we're talking about here, same deal there of about right at a calendar year on that front. So we'll have more to come here on the Chiefs Report in just a moment. But I want to know, on our pinned comment today, in honor of the 4th of July this week, as we celebrate our independence in the greatest country on planet Earth, what Chief do you think could eat the most hot dogs? I got to tell you, I was watching the hot dog eating contest on Thursday afternoon, and it was the most Mickey Mouse thing I've ever seen, of not having Joey Chestnut up there competing for that mustard belt title. It was just a disgrace. Who do you think? My money's on Chris Jones. I think it's got to be Chris Jones, right? What do you guys think? Which Chief could eat the most hot dogs on the 4th of July? Wait in the comments section to let us know. All right, more on Charles Omenihu. The statistics from his 11 games played last season, you can see 7 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 11 QB hits, 28 tackles. He was very solid in those 11 games. And you compare him to other players at his position, like Mike Dana or George Karlaftis. You can see his numbers were right up there with the rest of them, right? He had 1 less sack than Karlaftis did. He had more than Mike Dana did. Tackles numbers were very similar to those other guys. So Omenihu offers a lot that he brings to the table. And on top of that, too, if you go back to last year as well, those numbers that he put together were career highs. So what's so unfortunate about this ACL injury, not only just the fact of that you're looking at a long recovery period, and we're not exactly sure when he'll get back, but this was a guy that was just starting to come into his own and really blossom into this very good pass rusher, right? This was the best football we had seen prior to the ACL for Charles Omenihu. He did that with a career low of 11 games played, right? So if Charles Omenihu can get back to full strength, if he gets comfortable with that ACL, then I'm expecting big things from Charles Omenihu, that he could really step into his own and have a good finish to 2024 when he makes his return. My expectation is that he starts the year on the PUP list. And then we kind of just see where things go from there, right? Realistically, you would hope, best case scenario, sometime in October or November. You look at the worst case scenario, would probably be the full year recovery in January, and then you would be hoping that he's around for the playoffs, potentially for an AFC Championship or a Super Bowl appearance on that front. But realistically, we just don't know. But the update we got, though, from Omenihu, it sounds like no setbacks, at least, that he's at least on the right track. What week do you expect Omenihu to make his return to the Kansas City Chiefs? What do you guys think? I need some doctors to weigh in this chat. I know we got some doctors watching. Get that PhD out and let me know in the comments section how long it will be before we see Charles Omenihu back on the football field again. Coming up, we will talk about Xavien Howard. Should the Kansas City Chiefs consider signing the former Miami Dolphins corner? We will go over some numbers for you and give our analysis on the possibility of bringing in Howard in just a little while from right now. Before we do that, though, want to make sure you are subscribed for the latest happenings on your Kansas City Chiefs as we bring you our daily news and rumors. We got some exciting stuff ahead this season on the channels. We've been doing watch parties for a lot of the Chiefs games this season. Got some live shows in the future, some interactive mailbags and more. This is the place you want to be. Look, the Chiefs, they've won 3 Super Bowls as of late, right? It's been a great run. And our audience, you guys are the absolute best. You deserve the best. Expectations are always high for this organization, and we do what we can to meet those expectations for you when we talk Kansas City Chiefs football here on the channel. Subscribe now for free. Hit that sub button. You'll be glad you did. Pro Football Network has listed Xavien Howard as a top free agent target for the Kansas City Chiefs as the number 1 player that they should consider signing in free agency right now. And it's no secret the Chiefs do have plenty of cap space still to spend at this point in time. And with that said, we know about the loss of L'Jarius Sneed, and the Kansas City Chiefs haven't necessarily fully replaced him, if you will. Could Xavien Howard be the fit that Kansas City is looking for? Here's more from Pro Football Network. Consider the Kansas City Chiefs as another team that's capable of bringing in Howard amid his controversy. Andy Reid has worked with players who faced a distraction away from the field, but for the Super Bowl champs, there's room for one more cornerback after losing L'Jarius Sneed. Howard comes off a prized compliment to rising star Trent McDuffie. So to kind of give you an update of what has been going on with Xavien Howard as of late, you go back to September 2023, had allegations of 4 pregnancies, a lot of baby mamas there. December 2023, a woman posted a photo of her baby and said that Xavien Howard is a deadbeat dad. And then, just recently, last month, Howard was accused of sending explicit photos and videos of a woman to her child. So, again, this is all allegedly. We can't confirm anything. We're just telling you what's been reported out there. But it doesn't look too great for Xavien Howard. And although the Chiefs have a very good track record of working with players that have dealt with controversy, if you will, off the field, although they have that good track record, there's been so much that's happened this offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. They do have to ask themselves, is that another thing they want to take on potentially? So tap in. Let us know in the comment section. Do you want the Chiefs to sign Xavien Howard or not? Type S for sign, P for pass. Wait in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Let's go over some numbers for you on Xavien Howard, starting with his coverage stats. As you can see, last year gave up a lot when it came to completion percentage, 62.9%, 419 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 12 pass breakups in the 13 games played. The yardage number was by far the best he's had in the last 4 years, but then you take into account that he played in less games in 2023, comparably speaking to what he did in those other 3 years. And you break it down even further, you go to the grades that the nerds at Pro Football Focus put together of what he did in some of those specific contests. You can see his grade against the Chargers, not great, 44. A 30 against the Denver Broncos was really good, ironically enough, against the Kansas City Chiefs with an 81.8 grade. But then had his struggles against the Las Vegas Raiders with a 40.4 grade. Some other examples for you, going up against Baltimore, a 34, but then looked great against the Jets with a 78.4. So a lot of peaks and valleys throughout the year for Xavien Howard when it came to his play on the football field in 2023. Very inconsistent. And to take it even a step further, red flag, wave the red flag here. Howard, his coverage grade, we mentioned, we showed you some of those numbers earlier. The overall grade for what he did in 2023 was the 176th best player in coverage in 2023, according to Pro Football Focus. So, not great. I don't think he's worth the headache, personally speaking. If they do this, if the Chiefs were to sign Xavien Howard, then I would give them the benefit of the doubt and say, all right, Andy, you've done this before. I would trust your process, if you will. If Andy and Brett Veach feel like that this is worth taking on, then I'm not going to sit here and lose sleep over it. But it's not something I would advise and go through with to bring in Xavien Howard, who is a free agent that you want the Kansas City Chiefs to sign. Write in the comments section. Give us a name that comes to mind that you would like to see in Kansas City with all that cap space they still have to spend for 2024. Thanks for joining us here on the Chiefs Report. Subscribe to the channel for the latest happenings in your Kansas City Chiefs all offseason long. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.